Hello everyone, welcome to Prince on Air, and today we are going to start the chapter number 1 of class 12, that is solid states. And in this lecture we will cover about the general properties of solids and classification of solids on the basis of arrangement of particles. Clear? So here I just want to tell you, you have to open your notes and side by side you have to make the notes. So I just want to tell you, make your notes side by side. Clear? Is it clear now? So let's start without wasting any time. Here, see, in your previous class 11th, you have studied about the matter and its classification, and in that section you have studied about the physical classification of matter. Okay, in physical classification of matter you have studied what you have studied there you have studied that matter is classified in the three states of, that is solid, liquid and gas. Clear? These three states you have studied there, and about these two states you have studied in your chapter number 5, that is states of matter. In that section of class 11th you have studied all that things. Okay, now we have to study the solid at the separate unit. Okay, we have to study about the solid state in the separate unit here. So why we are studying about the solid in the separate section? That is a reason here. So most of the things we are looking around us are made up of solid. Like we are seeing all that substances around us that are made up of solid state, and they are having definite volume and definite shape. Clear? All of you know that about these things. Afterwards, the properties of solid. See, the properties of solids are not only depend upon the nature of particles. Obviously, the properties of solid will depend upon the nature, but also their arrangement and the forces of attraction which hold them together. Okay, means the properties of solids will depends upon the nature of solid, particles and forces of attraction, forces between them, and one of that arrangement of particles. Like in this way you can study it properly. Okay, see, now the rigidity of the solids is because the particles are having fixed position and can only oscillate about their mean position. Means the particles are having fixed position, like these two are particles, they are having fixed position and they are continuously vibrating there, oscillating there. Okay, so like in this way they are also rigid. Clear? Now, general characteristics of solid. Before studying about the general characteristics of solid, with that we have studied matter is classified into three physical states, that is solid, liquid and gas, and these, listen carefully, the state of matter will depends upon the net effect of these two forces. Okay, net effect of these two forces. First one is intermolecular force, second one is thermal energy. Clear? If intermolecular force is high and thermal energy is low. If the intermolecular force is high and thermal energy is low, then the state will be solid state. See, intermolecular force will bind the particles together and thermal energy will separate them. Okay, so it will be the contradictory factors to each other. Like here, intermolecular force, that particles will, if the intermolecular force is higher, that particles will be closer to each other, and if the thermal energy is higher, that particles will be apart from each other, far apart from each other. Okay, so that's why they are just contradictory to each other. And here, if the intermolecular force is higher, means the particle will closer to each other. Okay, and thermal energy should be lesser. If these two factors are intermediate, means that you can say the intermolecular force is moderate, at the moderate level, thermal energy is also at the moderate level, then the state will be in the liquid state. Okay, and if the thermal energy is higher, if the thermal energy is higher and intermolecular force is lesser, then the state will be gaseous state. Okay, that the state will be gaseous state. Clear? Now, characteristic properties of solids. All of you know about the characteristic properties of solids. Okay, that we are going to revise here now. Now, here the solid, as you know, solids are rigid, as we have discussed now. Clear? And solids have definite shape, mass and volume. Okay, so all the solids are having definite shape, definite mass and definite volume. Intermolecular forces, as I told you, intermolecular forces of attraction in the cases of molecules of or the particles of solids are very high. Okay, so intermolecular forces in solids are very high. Intermolecular distance is the, if the intermolecular forces of attractions are high, then the particles will be closer to each other, and if the particles are closer to each other, then it means the distance between these particles will be lesser. So intermolecular force is the force of attraction between the molecules of solid, and intermolecular distance will be the distance between these particles. Clear? So the intermolecular distance in the solids will be short. The constituent particles of solid have fixed position. See, the particles that made the solid, they are having fixed position. That's why they are having fixed volume. Okay, means outer boundary will be fixed. Clear? So like in this way you can explain, and hence they are having some type of motions. Okay, like all that particles are having motions. They can some are having rotational motion, they are some are translational motion. Okay, so like in this way the particles just want to move, but they can't move due to the high intermolecular force. So they just continuously vibrating at their own position. Okay, like there you can see they are continuously vibrating now. Okay, so like in this way they are vibrating. Solids are almost incompressible. These are almost incompressible. The density of solids is greater than liquids and gases. Okay, the density of solid will be greater than liquids and gases. Clear? Now we have to classify all that solids on the basis of the particle arrangement. Okay, on the basis of the arrangement of particle, we are going to classify the particle solids into two categories, that will be crystalline solid and amorphous solid. So first one is crystalline solids. Crystalline solids are those solids which are having the particles in the regular arrangement. Like here, they are having regular arrangement. You can see it properly. The particles are having the proper regular arrangement. Okay, they are having regular geometry. You can say definite geometry. Clear? So like in this way, you can say that crystalline solids are having regular geometry, but in case of amorphous, they are having random arrangement of particles. So in that way you can say the crystalline solids are those solids which are having regular arrangement of particles, and in which the irregular or random arrangement of particle is there, that are known as amorphous solids. Clear? So like here you can see crystalline solids are those solids in which the particles are having, the constituent particles are arranged in definite pattern in 3D space. Okay, in well defined orderly manner. Okay, in well defined orderly manner, that are known as crystalline substances or crystalline solids. These are some examples given to that: copper, silver, iron, sulfur, phosphorus, iodine, quartz. Now question is that how we can remember that examples. So I just want to tell you, in your NCERT book remember that rubber, plastic, and any polymer you can say, and glass. Basically these examples were given there, that which are as a amorphous solids, and all other examples will be considered to be as crystalline solid in your NCERT book. Okay, so we are following NCERT curriculum. Totally that lectures will be based upon the NCERT curriculum. Okay, so here I just want to tell you that you can remember these examples, polymers. That chapter we will study in this class. This polymer chapter is separately there. So through that you can understand which type of polymer compounds are existed. So they are existing, and through that you can remember, and you can justify your answer is that given compound is amorphous or crystalline. Okay, so see, like here you can see that particles are having regular arrangement. These particles are having regular arrangement. See here. Okay, so like these particles are considered to be as crystalline solids. Now amorphous solids. What are amorphous solids? The amorphous solids are those substances in which the constituent particles are not arranged in the regular pattern, in which the particles are not arranged in any regular pattern or arrangement. They are having random or disordered arrangement. Like here you can see the particles are not having regular arrangement, and they do not have definite shape also. Okay, definite shape means their particles are not forming any particular shape, and here these are short range ordered. In the previous section, the particles are long range ordered. See that for the long range the particles are having regular pattern, so they are also known as long range ordered solid. Long range ordered arrangement. Clear? But here the particles are having short range order. Okay, clear? Like the examples I have told you, that glass, rubber, plastic, etc. Clear? One note is given here, like solid, like liquids, amorphous solids can also flow. Like liquid they can flow, no? So similarly the amorphous solids can also flow. Thus they are called pseudo solids and supercooled liquids. That is the reason behind it. Okay, so sometimes they can ask you related to that, why amorphous solids are known as supercooled liquid or pseudo solid, because they are having the property like liquids. So that is the fluidity. Okay, means they can flow like liquids. Clear? Example is glass. Now the question, we have to discuss about that question here. Why glass pans fixed in windows or doors of old buildings are found to be slightly thicker at bottom than at the top? Now question, can you understand the question? Means why the old buildings window pans that are made up of glass seems to be slightly thicker at bottom than at top. Okay, like you can consider that is a glass pan, and if you are zooming that out, it will be thinner at top and thicker at bottom. Okay, so why it's so? See, the reason is, as we know that amorphous solids have the capability to flow. They are having the capability to flow. So here the particles of glass, they are considered to be as amorphous solid. Glass is considered to be as amorphous solid. So it is a supercooled liquid. So it can flow downside due to the effect of gravity. And they are just flowing slowly downside. In that way you can say that bottom part of that glass will be thicker as compared to the upper part. Okay, so because the glass can flow down very slowly and hence make the bottom portion slightly thicker due to the effect of gravity. Okay, under the effect of gravity, you can say. Clear? Now we have to discuss about the structure of quartz and quartz. Now what is quartz and quartz? One quartz is of crystalline and one is of amorphous. Now if you will see quartz, that will always be crystalline, and if you will see quartz, it will be like a quartz glass. Okay, it should be written as quartz glass. So quartz glass will considered to be as amorphous solid. Now the structure of quartz and quartz glass is given to you. See, with justifying that shape of the structures, shapes or structures of the solids, you can classify which component is crystalline and which is amorphous. Like here you can see the particles are having regular arrangement. The particles are having regular arrangement. If the particles are having regular arrangement, in which type of solids the particles are having regular arrangement? That are crystalline solids. So here that shape is crystalline, that is crystalline quartz. Okay, and here you can see that shape is irregular, so it is amorphous quartz glass. Clear? Like in this way. Is it clear? So like in this way you can classify all that particles or all the solids. Here the formula of quartz is SiO2, but the units here SiO2 joined together and will form the formula unit as a SiO4. Sometimes you will see that SiO4 because the silicon is joined to the other formula units, that of SiO2, so it will form SiO4 in sometimes cases. Okay, so you can see that in the two-dimensional form the structure will be like in this way here, and in the three-dimensional form it will form tetragonal shape. Okay, now difference between the crystalline and amorphous solid. Now we have to discuss about the difference between the crystalline and amorphous solid, but firstly we will discuss on the basis of some properties that are that are given to in your book. So whenever I'm just telling you, you can, if you can able, you can open your books and notes also. Okay, notebook also. So side by side you can justify from which book you have to follow, whenever you are learning. Okay, one notes and other you have to follow the books also, because as you know the pattern in NCERT or any other board, they are following the questions as the MCQs. Okay, MCQ pattern they are following, and also sometimes passage they can ask, assertion reason, assertion and reason based questions. So sometimes they can ask you these types of questions, and that type of question will be asked from the little bit internal lines of the book. So side by side you have to read the books, that textbook which is NCERT, line to line, word to word you have to read. Okay, so that's why I'm just telling you, you have to follow the books also. Now you can see, yeah, you can see here characteristic geometry. Firstly, we will discuss the difference between crystalline and amorphous solid on the basis of characteristic geometry. Here, the crystalline solids have definite regular geometry because the particles are in the orderly fashion, okay, in the 3D space. But in case of amorphous solid, they do not possess any regular arrangement of particles, and then therefore do not have any definite geometrical shape. Like here you can see the particles are in the regular fashion, and here the particles are not in the regular fashion. These are crystalline solids and these are amorphous solids. Okay, like here. Clear? So they are not having regular fashion, means they will not have a regular geometry or characteristic geometry. Clear? Second one is melting point. Now melting point, crystalline solids will have sharp melting point, they will have sharp melting point. Sharp, now what is the meaning of sharp here? Means if any solid, if any crystalline solid wants to melt, if we want to melt that given solid and its melting point is 107 degrees Celsius, suppose that it has melting point 107 degrees Celsius, means that whole solid will melt at 107 degrees Celsius. Is it clear now? At the whole solid will melt at 107 degrees Celsius. Okay, it will not melt at 106 degrees Celsius. So that's why we are saying that melting point is sharp in case of crystalline solids. Clear? But in case of amorphous solids, they do not have sharp melting point. They are not having sharp melting point. Okay, I'll ask you that question, why crystalline solids have sharp melting point? As we know that particles are arranged in regular fashion in crystalline solids. Okay, so whenever you are applying heat, the heat is transferred to all that particles in the equally fashion or equally amount. So particles are getting heat, and by getting that heat, there will be the increase in thermal energy. And if the particles are having larger amount of thermal energy, they will get separated. Okay, they will overcome the intermolecular force between them. So that's why means they can separated together, and in that way we will see that melting point will be seems to sharp. Clear? Here amorphous solids do not have sharp melting point. On heating, they firstly soften, and then melt over a range of temperature. Means for example, they can start melting at 55 degrees Celsius, and the whole solid will become in the molten state at the 175 degrees Celsius. Means there will be wide range of temperature has to be shown. Clear? Clear? So here you can see glass as a amorphous solid, how that molten glass has been shown, and here how we are giving the shape to the glass. Okay, here expansion also occurs. Means the amorphous solid, glass is an amorphous solid, no? So the amorphous solid can be molded. Okay, they are not melting no at a particular temperature, they will just melt at a particular place. So through that we can mold them in the appropriate manner in the required shape. Okay, we can give that shape to the amorphous solid according to our needs. So that's why amorphous solids are very useful in our daily life. Okay, like plastics we are using, and that can also be molded into a required shape. So that's why these are very helpful for us. Now the note, you have to note it down. It has been observed that on heating then cooling, okay, on heating and then cooling, that is known as annealing. Whenever you are heating something or increasing that temperature for any substance, and then you are providing some cooling effect to it, then it effect is known as annealing. Okay, like during annealing, the particles like of solids will become crystalline, and sometimes the crystalline solid will becomes amorphous also. Okay, so vice versa effect will be happen. Now question is here, why glass objects from the ancient civilization are found to become milky in appearance instead of being transparent? All of you know that glass is transparent in nature, but in the if you are looking at the ancient civilization objects or doors or windows, glass panes, like here you can see it seems to be milky in color. So why they are so? Because the crystallization of glass occurs. All of you know the glass is amorphous solid. So due to annealing effect, the glass is converted into crystalline solid. That's why it seems to be milky in color. Now what happened there during annealing? See, in the environment, okay, in the environment continuously temperature change happens. Okay, we are looking for the change in temperature, like in the morning time the temperature is higher, and during night time you will see that temperature is load. So the continuously change in temperature, it will behave as the effect, it can show the effect like as a heating and then cooling effect. So that effect is known as annealing. Okay, so annealing happens in case of glass, okay, of the old buildings. So it will become milky in color, that's why it is so. Now difference between crystalline and amorphous solid on the basis of isotropy and anisotropy. Isotropy and anisotropy, you can see here. So isotropy and anisotropy. So firstly we have to discuss about the what is the meaning of isotropy and what is the meaning of anisotropy. Isotropy, okay, the property of solids through which we check the physical properties are same in all different directions. Yeah, means if the properties like physical properties, maybe it may be refractive index, it may be a magnetic strength, okay, so it should be same in all the direction of the solids, okay, all the different directions of the solid, it should be same. Like if iso means, here iso means same, so if the properties are same in different directions, then it is isotropic in nature, that substance is isotropic in nature. And if they are different, then that substance is known to be as anisotropic in nature. Now here you can see the particles are having regular arrangement, means it is a crystalline substance. Okay, so whenever you are looking you are checking the properties from here to here, here to here, you will see that particles arrangement like in this way. From the left side of the line you will see that particles are pink in color, and here right side you will see the green in color. Okay, that environment you will face. Now from here, if you are checking in the angular form, the properties will be different, because the environment of particle is different. Like here you will see that alternative forms of particles are appeared, like green, pink, green, pink, green, pink, green, pink. Here also green, pink, green, pink, green, pink, green, pink. So like in this way you will face the different arrangement of particles in the both direction, means two different direction they will show different arrangement of particles. So due to that, or environment of particles, so due to that they will show different physical properties, different physical properties. So those are showing different physical properties in different direction, they are known as anisotropic in nature. So that in that way they can ask you why crystalline solids are known as anisotropic. Okay, so why they the crystalline solids are anisotropic? Because their properties are, the physical properties are different in different direction due to the change in environment of the particles. That is the reason. Okay, due to different properties that are physical properties. Okay, physical you have to write in different direction of the solid due to different environment of particles appeared. Okay, clear? Like in this way you can write that answer. But in case of amorphous solid, you can see that particles are in the random form. So if the randomness is there, whenever you are checking the properties from here to here, you will see the, you will face the random particles. Similarly, from here to here, you will face the random arrangement of particles. So if randomness is there, means you will face always randomness. So particles will be always almost be the similar in arrangement, or the properties will be similar in appropriate manner. So that's why we can say that amorphous solids are isotropic in nature. Okay, the reason is randomness of the particles. Okay, so you will face randomness in all directions. Now next property is the cleavage property. Now what is cleavage property? What is cleavage property? Whenever you are cutting any substance, whenever you are cutting any substance, and it will it will get separated into two pieces, and that pieces should have smooth surface. If it is having if they are having smooth surface, then they are known to be as having cleavage property. In case of crystalline solids, if you are cutting that solid in the proper manner, and that two separate surfaces will be smoother. Okay, and that's why they are showing the cleavage property due to the regular arrangement of particles. Whenever you are cutting that, see, if the particles are in the regular arrangement, and if you are cutting from here, so it will separate like in this way. Okay, clear? So that surface will be smoother. But in case of amorphous solid, if you are cutting that, the irregular cleavage will be there. Okay, like here you can see, whenever you are cutting a metal, it is a sodium metal. If you are cutting metal like in this way, you will see that surface will be smooth. Okay, but in case of cutting glass, the surface will not be smoother. Okay, like in this way you can say. Now we can summarize all the differences between the crystalline and amorphous solids. Now here I have written the properties on the basis of which we are just differentiating the crystalline and amorphous solids. On the basis of shape, the crystalline substances have definite shape, and amorphous, they do not have definite shape. On the basis of order, the crystalline substances are the particles in crystalline substance are regular in order, and they are having long range. Long range means for the long distances they are having regular arrangement. Okay, but in case of amorphous solid, they are having irregular arrangement. On the basis of melting point, crystalline substances have sharp melting point, and amorphous substances are not having sharp melting point. On the basis of cleavage properties, the crystalline substance will show cleavage properties. Yes, means they will show cleavage property, but in case of amorphous solid, they will not show any cleavage property. Enthalpy of fusion. Enthalpy of fusion. What is the meaning of enthalpy of fusion here? Enthalpy of fusion means they the particles will separate at the particular amount of heat. Okay, whenever you are applying the particular amount of heat, as we know, the melting point is sharp. So if we are applying a particular amount of heat, that's why they can separate it, otherwise they will not separate. So enthalpy of fusion, it will be definite. Is it clear? It is definite for crystalline substances, and it is not definite for amorphous substances. Anisotropy. Okay, anisotropy will be shown by crystalline substances. Okay, so they will show anisotropy. They will not show anisotropy, they will show isotropy. Okay, amorphous solid will show isotropy. Nature. Now nature of crystalline substances will be as a true solids, and these are known as pseudo solids. Pseudo means false. Okay, false, jhute. So like in this way you can say, and it will be also known as supercooled liquid. Examples of crystalline solids that we have discussed: copper, zinc sulfide, iron, sodium chloride, silver. These are the some examples of crystalline substances. And similarly for amorphous, glass, plastic, rubber, polymers, different types of polymers will be all included here. So all these are the examples of crystalline and amorphous solids. Now let's practice all that questions according to our need. Let classify the following as amorphous and crystalline solids. Now naphthalene ball you have seen, these are crystalline in nature. Firstly you can try yourself, okay, by pausing this video you can try yourself, like you have to classify by crystalline as C and amorphous as A, okay, like in this way you have to classify. You can take the screenshot if you want to just practice it, and afterwards try to do yourself by pausing this video, and afterwards I will tell you that answer, and so you can check it once. Okay, done. So see, naphthalene is crystalline, Teflon is amorphous because Teflon is a polymer. Polyurethane, poly it means amorphous here. Okay, like in this way you can understand. Benzoic acid is crystalline in nature. Potassium nitrate, crystalline in nature. Cellophane is amorphous. PVC is polyvinyl chloride, it is amorphous. Fiberglass is there, no, glass means amorphous. Copper, if any metal is there, that always be crystalline. Zinc sulfide, crystalline. So all that are in that manner. Okay. One more question is there, that is refractive index of a solid is observed to have same, wait, the question is refractive index of a solid is observed to have same in all direction. Comment on the nature of the solid. If the refractive index is a physical property that I've told you, physical property. So if the physical properties are same in all directions, it means the nature of solid should be isotropic in nature. So the nature of the properties, nature or the property shown by the solid is isotropy. And which solid will show isotropy? That are amorphous. Okay, amorphous solids will show isotropy property, no? And would it show cleavage property? Yeah, tell me that. Amorphous solids are showing cleavage property or not? Yeah, they are not showing cleavage property. So they will not show any cleavage property. Clear? Now next question is, what makes a glass different from the solid such as quartz? Now glass is different. Quartz glass, here you can say quartz glass, these are SiO2 also, and quartz it is also SiO2. Now what makes the glass different from the solid such as quartz? Under what condition could quartz be converted into glass? As we know that glass is amorphous solids, the particles in the glass, they are not having regular arrangement. So the particles of glass are not having regular arrangement. So they are not having regular arrangement. So that's why they are called amorphous solids. Amorphous solids. But in case of quartz, they are having regular arrangement. They are called crystalline solids. Clear? So that is a major difference between them. And under what conditions could the quartz can be converted into glass? As I told you, the effect of annealing. whenever you are melting any substance and then just providing the cooling effect, it will becomes crystalline to amorphous or amorphous to crystalline. So here what they are asking, how in under what conditions the quartz can be converted into glass, means crystalline substance can be converted into amorphous solids by just providing heat and melting, and then we can move to the cooling effect. Means that under the effect of annealing you can change the quartz into glass, but you have to explain what is annealing here. Okay, clear? Now next another question is there, which of the following is an amorphous solid? That is asked in AIMS also. So can you tell me that which solid is amorphous solid here? Can you tell me? That I have told you already. That is obviously glass. Okay, so now next is, which of the following is true about the value of refractive index? Okay, refractive index of the quartz glass. Which thing is true? Okay, which thing is true? So in that is refractive index, it is a physical property. Okay, it is a physical property of a solid, and in case of glass means they will show isotropy. Isotropy means same property in different direction. Okay, same property in different direction. So it means the first point is the answer, same in all direction, like in this way. Clear? Different in different direction, it is for anisotropy. Cannot be measured, that's not possible. Always zero, that is also not possible. Okay. Next one is, which of the following statement is not true about the amorphous solids? Okay, which of the following statement is not true about the amorphous solid here? See, first one is, on heating they may become crystalline at certain temperature. They can be converted into crystalline, but whenever you are applying some heating temperature, then we have to give the cooling effect also. They may become crystalline on keeping for long time. Okay, it is written here for long time. No, amorphous solids can be molded by heating, that is not true, but not true they are asking. Okay, they are anisotropic in nature, means all of you know that solids of amorphous, they are isotropic in nature, they are not anisotropic in nature. So answer will be D. Okay, this on heating, yeah, heating, if we are providing heating at a particular temperature, means firstly increase in temperature, then decrease at a particular temperature, then we can change it obviously. And similarly they, in that cases, if we are just feeling some complication in the statements, we have to read all that statements. Okay, all that options. So answer should be D. Next one. So that is it from my side for first lecture of this solid state, and here I just want to tell you once again, make your notes properly, sit at home, stay at home and stay safe. Okay, and keep studying, keep motivated, and just want to say thanks for watching this video, and tomorrow we will make again. Okay.